Okay. So find yourself in a tall, supportive seat. Whatever that looks like is fine. If you're in a chair, I recommend not crossing at the ankles or the knees, but having the feet flat, or if you're like me, at least touching, but they don't have to be flat, flat if you're shorty like me. And then look for a tall spine. You might rock your shoulders around a couple times, especially if you're like in this body, they get like stuck up here when I'm typing for no reason. And next time your shoulders are down, keep them down. Keep your elbows bent, hands are resting on something or by your sides. It can also feel really good to have one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. If you're feeling disembodied today or like a little airy or like you're having trouble even noticing your body and your breath, that can be a really helpful technique because it's just immediate tactile reference. Let your gaze go forward and slightly down. Lock your attention on something ahead of you that's not moving, and then soften the muscles around your eyes and your ears and your jaw and your mouth. You might even swallow, let your tongue fall off the roof of your mouth. Settle into your seat. Find something like stillness. It doesn't have to be perfect. And separate yourself from what you were doing so you can come fully now into what you are doing. You might immediately have a sense or a story of what you've brought into the room with you today, and that's normal. And start to ground and center yourself to become more present-minded, more single-pointed focus. So notice first what you see, whether your eyes are open or shut is irrelevant. Notice what you hear. Notice anything you smell or taste. And notice where your body is touching something underneath you. Get heavier in the places where you feel supported. And as best you can, maintain that sense of length through the crown of your head. You might scoop the belly organs in and up and pinch the shoulder slightly behind you. Just 10% energy, not 100%, to give yourself a feeling of support. Let your awareness come to your breathing body without changing the breath so you can observe the air coming in and out. Notice your breath as a 360-degree experience, keeping in mind that the lungs are physically bigger in the back half of your body. So paying special attention to the sensations of the breath in your shoulders, your upper and mid back, maybe the low back, the sides of the ribs under the armpits. And start to allow your breath to deepen. Again, not 100% energy, not forcing, more like allowing the breath to come in deeper and lower than normal, and allowing the air to escape a little bit longer than usual. Maybe through the nose, or maybe if that's not accessible today, you could blow out of your mouth like you're blowing through a straw. Couple rounds like that. Finish the round that you're on, and then do one more. Maybe the biggest breath you've taken so far today. And then return back to your natural passive breath and notice anything left over so far. It might be a really subtle shift, and maybe there's nothing at all. Good. And if you choose to continue, we'll start the movement portion of class now. So open your eyes if you haven't already. Take in the room around you again. It might look a little different than when you got here. That's normal. And then if you're in a seat, scoot forward to the edge of your seat and put your feet firmly on the ground in a way where, you have enough meat where you're not going to tip forward and feel unsupported, but you still have a lot of wiggle room behind you and to the sides of you. Good. Let your arms come straight out of your shoulder sockets down by the sides of your body. And you might even stay here and just imagine axial extension. So just imagine the tail moving down without tucking the tail. So we're not scooping the pelvis underneath. We're just pressing down into what's touching the floor and the seat. Lifting the ribs up off your hips, lift your shoulders up, up, and away so all the ribs have extra space. And then keeping that feeling of length, let the shoulders drop down while you stay tall. Belly in and up for support, reaching through the crown of your head and reaching down through the fingertips actively. Now, you might squeeze them together or pull them really far apart, whatever helps you pay attention. And stay there for a breath or two, just as big and long as you can be. Notice how that changes the sensation of breathing in one or many parts of your body. And then keep that feeling of length. Next time you inhale, push down from the waist down and then grow tall from the waist up. Maybe you reach around and up. Maybe you look up. Stay for another breath, reaching. If your arms are super far up overhead, lift your shoulders up away from your hips as well. If your eyebrows are lifting, lift your eyeballs too. If your eyeballs are lifting, lift your nose too, but don't crunch the back of your neck. Keep your head lifted and long. One more inhale here. Exhale, carefully bring your hands back down and bring your head back to neutral. Good. Let's do a couple moving more dynamically. So inhale, reach around and up. Maybe you look up. And then exhale, let everything come back to neutral. And now start matching them up. So inhale, lift, but don't reach the top until your lungs are super, super full. And exhale, lower, but don't reach the bottom until your lungs are super, super empty. We all move at a different pace, so don't worry about how fast or slow I or your neighbor are moving. Just notice your breath. It might help to close your eyes halfway or all the way. Acknowledging, not judging if your body likes to move faster or slower than your breathing pace. That's normal. See if you can just get them closer to symmetry. One or two more rounds here, depending how fast you're moving. And then inhale to lift your arms, and when they're up, keep them up. Next time you exhale, bring your arms only halfway down so they're at shoulder height, and then bend your elbows so your fingertips are pointing up towards the sky. Good. Now inhale, pull the chest more forward, gaze more forward. Maybe you lift your heart. Exhale, round the top of your spine and your shoulders and bring your hands and your elbows closer together. They might even touch. Back and forth like that now. Inhaling to open, squeeze your shoulders towards your spine without collapsing. Exhale, round, tuck your head, look down at your belly at the end. Go back and forth 2 or 3 more times. Even though you're moving back and forth, keep looking for length, especially in the low spine. Option to stay anywhere for a breath or two longer if it feels good or necessary. When you're done, be done and inhale out. So your arms are in a big T shape and your spine is long again. Maybe wiggle through your fingers. Next time you exhale, twist to the right. So turn your body towards the right side of the room and then just let your hands come down, but don't use them to pull yourself further. Keep inhaling for more length. Keep exhaling to squeeze the center of your body. Maybe for the last round or two, you explore looking over your back shoulder. Keep reaching through the crown of your head, chin down and back slightly. And then when you're ready to breathe in, come all the way back through the center and exhale to the other side. So maybe twist first. Remember, you don't want your arms to pull you further. Let them come straight out of the center of the heart, and then let the arms come down so they can hold you in place without pulling. Each time you breathe in, you get longer. Each time you exhale, you squeeze a little tighter through the belly. Maybe you look over your back shoulder. You don't have to breathe big, but keep breathing. When you're ready, push into your feet. Inhale, come all the way back to the center. And exhale, lower your arms down. Good. Identify your right arm. And when you're ready, breathe in and either bring it out to shoulder height or up overhead. It's up to you. If your arm's over shoulder height, lift the shoulder girdle also. And for a moment, just actively pull the two sets of hands apart from each other. Soft face, smooth out your eyebrows, reaching in both directions as long as you can. And then to any extent, next time you exhale, start to lean over towards the left. And remember, you can always take this arm on top out of the equation by just placing it behind the small of your back. You're still looking for that big, round, curved, open feeling in the side of the rib cage as you stay. You can look forward, you can look down, you can do something I didn't mention. If you want to work hard, you can lift both arms up like you're holding a huge beach ball or something. Push into your feet and your seat, belly organs in and up. Next time you breathe in, come all the way back to the center and exhale, lower your hands down. Take a breath, fill yourself up from the bottom to the top and the top to the bottom, and then identify your opposite arm. And when you're ready, you know where you're going already, so inhale to lift. Study the space between your shoulder and your hip. Arms don't have to be part of the equation, but they could be. And when you're ready, lean over a little or a lot. Do your best not to dump and collapse. Keep yourself lifted and supported through the midsection. Open your heart to the front, even if it means you bend over less. One more breath. Push into your feet, belly in and up. Inhale, come all the way back to the center. And exhale, lower your hand down. Place your hands on your knees, really exaggerated shoulder rolls here. So inhale, bring them forward and up all the way, like you're trying to touch your earlobes, and then squeeze them as tight as you can behind you and slide them all the way down your spine. So you're looking for your absolute max range of motion. It might be uncomfortable and they might feel different on each side, especially if you have an injury or something that you're working with. So be mindful of that. The point isn't to push through and make them the same. It's just to do big rolls on each side. So if you want, you could do one at a time, especially if they feel really different. That might serve you better. And after you've done a couple this direction, pause and go the other direction too. So now you're inhaling back and up, exhaling forward and down. Soft face. I don't know why my lip always curls. It like thinks that it's helping. See if you can relax something that isn't involved so you can bring all of your energy and awareness to the major groups of muscles and bones and tissue that are involved. Not saying they're not connected, just seeing if we can start to melt away those habitual patterns of tension. Good. One more this direction too. And then come to stillness with your shoulders down, tall spine, arms resting on something, gaze is forward. And just take a minute now that we're halfway through, 15 minutes through, a quick body scan. Notice anything that's left over so far in your practice. That might be a sensation in the actual body. It might be how your breath is moving or the way your mind is working. Maybe you notice nothing. That's okay too. One more breath here, just noticing. Good. And then turn your body sideways on your chair so that only the left buttock and thigh is on the seat, but they're firmly planted on the chair. And you want to make sure you can grab either a table next to you, or I like to grab onto the back of my seat. Good. So you want the right leg to be free. We're going to swing it back behind us, but controlled, not swinging like flinging, right? We're going to carefully, gracefully guide our right foot back behind us. So keep your chest really tall. Keep your gaze moving forward so you don't tilt forward. And then a bunch of little tiny hops or one big step. Take your right foot back behind you and push the toes down into the ground. Lift the heel up towards the sky. Get the leg as long as you can behind you while the front leg is still bent. This is a high lunge. So you could stay here, or if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more today, you could lift your weight out of your chair like you're going to stand up, or you can actually release all of your weight from the seat so that you are balancing yourself completely on your feet. Another way to intensify without getting up off of the chair is to let go of whatever you're hanging on to, and or to lift your arms up overhead a little or a lot. Squeeze your right buttock. Push more into both sets of big toes. Move your thighs closer together like scissors without actually moving them. Just imagine that happening. Good. Next time you exhale, we're going to come into warrior two. So let your back heel come down, toes move open, arms open to a big T shape. Yeah. So when you look down at your feet, you should see kind of like an L. The left toes are pointing to the side. Right toes are pointing ahead of you to the original front of the room-ish. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect. Arms are open to a big T shape. If that feels like too taxing in the shoulders, what I really like to do is like hold silver platters, bend the elbows, and turn the palms up. And then let your gaze go to the left over your left knee. Again, pushing into both sets of toes, both heels, and squeezing the legs together without actually moving them. Engage in your bandhas, in your seals. So pull in and up on your belly organs, pull in and up on your pelvis like you have to pee and you can't find a bathroom. Now lift the diaphragm of the breathing body up, lift your ribs up off of your hips. And then constrict the throat slightly to create the top of the container. 3 bandhas. Last inhale here. Exhale, lower your hands to your hips or to your heart. Carefully rock yourself more forward so you're in your high lunge again. Lifting the back heel, pushing into both sets of big toes. And then carefully turn so you are sitting back in your chair, both buttocks and legs on the seat. And just scan your body and notice what's left over. You might notice a lot of sensation in one leg versus the other. The hips might feel different. The low back might feel different. It involves your entire body, just so don't be surprised if you feel a lot of different sensations. And then let's do those on the other side. So high lunge first and then warrior two, okay? So turn so your right buttock and hip are on the chair. Left leg is more free. Hang on to a table or the back of your seat so you feel really supported and balanced at first. And then remember to keep your gaze lifted forward, not looking down at the floor. It's going to make it more difficult. And then a bunch of little steps or one big leap. Take your left foot back behind you. Toes are on the ground. Heel is lifted at first. Now, some bodies are naturally flexy and the heel might come further down, and that's okay. Option to make things more challenging for yourself if you want. You could pretend you're going to take your weight out of the chair, or you could actually take your weight out of the chair. You could let go of your support on your hands. You could lift your arms up overhead. Push into both sets of toes. Lift in and up on the belly. Get your ribs up off your hips. Face is soft. Breath is moving. It doesn't have to be deep. Next time you exhale, settle into your warrior two. Back heel comes down, back toes shift outward. So when you look down, you kind of see an L shape. Arms are open straight out of the center of the chest. You could always do that trick where you poke the center of your heart and then open your wings like a big bird. Good. And then if you want to bend the elbows and turn the palms up to rest the shoulders, you have that option. Or you can reach straight out of the shoulders and glue your fingertips together like Barbie hands. Gaze over your middle right finger over your front knee. Push into both little toes, both big toes, both heels. Squeeze the legs together without moving them. Lift in and up on your pelvis, in and up on your belly organs. Lift your diaphragm up off your hips. Shoulders are down and relaxed. Throat very slightly constricted to create the top of your container. One more breath here. Become steady even if you feel unsteady. Good. And then next time you breathe in, bring yourself back to your lunge first. Arms can come to your hips or your heart. Grab onto your chair or the table. Notice what it's like to come back to hips facing forward together. And then carefully guide yourself back to a seated position with both buttocks and hips on the seat. Again, scan your body from the bottom to the top or the top to the bottom, or just compare the whole right side to the whole left side. But however it suits you, compare the two sides without judging them as better or worse. It's just sensation. Good. And then scoot forward a little bit in your seat so that you can firmly plant your feet on the ground. Inhale, get super tall. Exhale, simply fold forward, and you can keep your hands on your knees. You can bring your elbows to your knees and you can cradle your head. Especially if you get headaches or migraines, I really wouldn't recommend letting your head go down further than that, below the heart. But if you want to, you could. And if you do, if you're really folded over, let your head get really heavy like a bowling ball. Again, breathe big into the back of your body where your lungs are biggest. Fill your lungs up as much as you can and notice where that sensation is. Notice how it changes and moves over time as you stay compressed here in the front body. Shake your head yes a little bit. Shake your head no a little bit. And then stay in stillness. Okay, don't come up quickly. Roll yourself up like a fern, unfurling. One vertebrae at a time. Head and shoulders are going to come up absolutely last. Really take your time. Stacking the low back. Middle back comes on top. Upper back on top of that. And then maybe when you get to the tippy top, you roll your shoulders really big again and let your head stack on top of the spine last. And then scoot all the way back into your seat so you feel fully supported again. Gaze goes ahead, feet touching the ground. Relax your shoulders one more time. Keep your arms supported. And then lock your attention at something that's not moving. Maybe you tuck your chin down and back again, like you push your head into that invisible wall to feel even longer from your tail to your crown. Good. And I'll offer a short guided body scan meditation to close class today. But as usual, this is optional. If you want to work with a prayer or a meditation of your own, an affirmation, or if you just want to take a little brain break, take a nap, you always have those options. Make this integration section of class work for you. But if you want to follow along with me, bring your attention just like a flashlight, as if you can point it wherever you want, whenever you want on purpose. And point it just at the tips of your toes. You don't have to move them or find anything in particular. Just notice all your toes. And then do the same with the bottoms of your feet. And notice the tops of your feet. Notice your ankles. Notice your lower legs. Notice your knees. Notice your upper legs. Notice your hips. Notice your buttocks. Notice your pelvis. Notice your belly. Notice your low back. Notice your upper back. Notice your chest. Notice your shoulders. Notice your upper arms. Notice your elbows. Notice your lower arms. Notice your wrists. The backs of your hands. The palms of your hands. Notice all of your fingertips. Notice the front of your throat, the back of your neck, the back of your head, the top of your head. Notice your forehead. Notice your temples. Notice your ears. Notice your cheeks. Notice your jaw. Notice your chin. Notice your lips. Notice your teeth. Notice your tongue. Notice your nose. Notice your right eyelid. Notice your left eyelid. Notice your right eyebrow. Notice your left eyebrow. Notice the space between your eyebrows. Good. Now notice your whole body together as one big piece. Now let go of that. And notice your body on your chair again. Notice your breath again. And I'll invite you to bring your hands together either in a prayer-like position with your thumbs touching your chest. You can stack your hands, whatever feels better to you is fine. And look down or bow down towards your heart and your hands. And this motion is in gratitude of yourself. So, as best you can, give yourself a sincere thank you just for carving out the time and showing up. Everything else was just extra. And remember, you have a body, but you're not just your body. You have a mind, but you're not just your thoughts. And you have emotions, but you're not just your feelings. As you're ready, you can let your hands come down, your eyes can flutter open and up. And class is over. Thank you for coming. I'll turn off the recording, but if anyone has questions or concerns, you can talk to me now or later about that, as usual. Yeah, of course.